Good morning, everybody. How are you? It is a beautiful Monday morning, although I have to tell you, I'm a bit tired. I know Eric is exhausted. We have so much to share with you about, real estate stuff, of course, and then, of course, our fun family weekend that we're going to get to here shortly. I was trying to say good morning to everybody. I think I got almost everybody. Deb, let me say hi to you right now, sweetheart. Deb. Okay, there we go. I think I have everybody up until till we started officially. So if I've missed you, I love you. Thank you for joining in. So we have a lot of activities. You have to pardon my voice. I feel like it's the exhaustion voice, not because I talk a lot, as some people might claim, but it's just been a busy weekend. So so busy, in fact, that I just grabbed a mug this morning, not remembering that it was, I remembered it was Monday, but so today I'm drinking out of my, this was from our trip to the Bahamas. When Eric and I went before. I may have even used this one before. I tend to really like these that have the lid on them lately, probably because I don't drink them fast enough, so it helps keep them warm. Anyway, Eric is here, but he says he's not, he yelled hi. Speaking of Eric, I wanted to share this with you. We kind of touched on it a little bit last week because he doesn't want to be on camera today because it's been rough. In fact, I won't even tell you what's happening from the waist down here today. But anyway, so, oh, wait, shoot, darn it. Hold on. Pause. There we go. Okay, good. So this is the cover of the Real Producers Magazine. Eric and I are right down there. And then here is our, I can never do this right, weatherman, I will never be. There you go. So here is, the big article on us, and we mentioned it last week, but right after coffee time, it actually came out. So anyway, doesn't matter to us. We're honored. We're grateful to be a part of that. But at any rate, I couldn't do it without him, and he knows that. And I'm very appreciative, and we are appreciative of all of you. So we have lots of fun stuff today. So I'm going to get right into it because part of what I'm going to talk about for a long time is what's kind of up on what's brewing. By the way, Gary Wandry, you had a question early on. I made a sticky note, my friend. I have a sticky note right in front of me, so I'm going to answer that here in just a minute. But I'm going to go ahead and get to what's brewing, just so that I can talk about something that's been really fun for us. All right, here we go. Okay, so this is our what's brewing for the day. We have the Disney VIP Tour, the Bridgewater Village, and then Allie knows nothing, but Allie knows taxes. It's a question about taxes. So when it relates to real estate, so we'll talk about that one in a minute. But first, you may remember that we talked about our anniversary. Eric and I celebrated our 30th wedding anniversary earlier in April. We didn't really get to go anywhere or do anything at that particular time. My daughter and son-in-law were in Korea, so we were dog sitting. So our actual, literal anniversary, we just kind of, we stayed home. And then I tried to surprise Eric. We did a staycation at Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge. It was going to be Monday evening, all day Tuesday, and leave Wednesday morning. And as it ended up, we were there 24 hours. We got there Monday afternoon. We left Tuesday afternoon, just because that's the way our life works. But that was just a quick little jaunt at a getaway. We didn't do parks or anything. However, when we did a Disney VIP tour with some clients of ours, so Eric, is it the 33 Club?
Club 33.
Yeah, the Club 33. If you haven't heard of this, typically a club that is, I won't say, well, it's kind of exclusive, but it's for these larger corporations that have lots and lots and lots of money, not like Heart and Home Orlando. But so there's this company, and when you're a part of the Club 33, there's all sorts of perks and benefits. And one of them is that you receive a designated number of these VIP tours to use throughout the year. And in that particular case, the first time we went on one, it was clients of ours who invited Eric and myself to join them because they had been gifted one of those VIP tours. So they had a couple of extra spots. So they asked Eric and I to go, and it was our first experience with one of those tours. So it was amazing. We loved it. It was so much fun. So while we were there, Eric thought, for our anniversary, we should see if we can do this for our family. Not the Club 33, because we can't afford that, but one VIP Disney tour. And so that's, excuse me, that's what we did. We worked to try to find a date where, my son would be out of high school, which, by the way, he graduates on Wednesday. And then our daughter was going to be back from college, which she is now. And her husband, our son-in-law, who's in the Army, would be able to get leave to come for a couple days. And that our oldest son, Forrest, who lives in Virginia, was going to be able to also come here and preferably stay a little while, so he could kind of hang out with us, which is what we did. That date happened. It was on Saturday, so we did a huge VIP tour, and it was amazing. So let me give you some pictures kind of how it looked. This is us. We started out at Epcot. That's me on the right. That's my son-in-law Steele in the middle. This is so in the back, that was Aaron. He was our VIP tour guide. There were 10 of us all together. My 4 birth children, my 2 additional sons by marriage, and then my son's friend from school, and another, we just call her, she's just adopted family. Her name is Erin, friends of all of my kids. This is Tron. Okay, there's Elizabeth and Steele. There's Long and Forth. There's me and Allie. Oh my gosh, I haven't seen some of this. So true story, I lost my magic band. There's Erin. To the right is Diego, and then there's Dawson. So that's my son on the far right with the hat. That's his buddy, Buzz Lightyear. So by the way, I love the way they do Eric and Forrest. So we used to do this as a little kid all the time. That was their thing. But true story also, my other son, Dawson, maxed out the score. He hit the designated target, and then the ride stopped. So he just went pew, 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 and then he got it. Where are we? Oh, this is us falling. Oh my gosh, Pooh Bear. So again, as magic always happens, Pooh Bear is my favorite. I have a Pooh Bear shirt on. There's me. Look, I haven't seen this. This is embarrassing. Okay, but also cute because I love Pooh Bear. Like seriously, I'm like a little girl. Okay, anyway, and then I think it loops back around. That's us walking again. So anyway. So we did have an amazing time. We started at Epcot, did a few rides. We then went to Hollywood Studios, and then we skipped Animal Kingdom and then went to the Magic Kingdom. If you don't know what the VIP tour does, ultimately, and we're going to do a video series, kind of like we did the pool video, about our experience and whether or not, you want to determine whether or not it's worth it, financially, whether it's worth it, quality of your day, whether it's worth it. And obviously your family, it's going to be dependent on who you've got in your family. But we had a great time. Special thanks to our tour guide, Aaron. If you are lucky enough to do a tour and lucky enough to have him, he was amazing. They take great care of you. You literally go essentially through the express lane or the fast pass lane. For every ride, you still may have to wait a little bit if you're in that, but you literally get to go right on. There was a couple of rides, though. Eric, what was it? It was Buzz and Haunted Mansion that we literally scoop through the back way with our guide. And as people are exiting the ride, we pop ourselves right in them. We didn't have to go through the queue at all. So that was amazing. We were exhausted. So many rides that we were able to ride. It was a long day. We watched the fireworks toward the end. That was probably the most stressful is, just trying to get out of the park after the fireworks. But as always, fireworks are an amazing show. So that was what we did with our Saturday. So that was part of our What's Brewing. We are going to talk more about like that again in a little video series. So if you have ever contemplated a Disney VIP tour, whether or not that's something you might want to do, maybe for a family reunion or a big group of friends, we'll talk about kind of how that works and some things that might work for you. All right, so back to What's Brewing. So now back to real estate. I digress. Back to what, helps us make the money to pay for that VIP tour. So the Bridgewater Village. So we've talked before in our Disney's Backyard, which we talk about Horizon West, Disney's Backyard, the different villages. And we talked about all the other villages, well, not all of them, but we've talked about the other villages. Today, we're going to talk about the Bridgewater Village. So Bridgewater is going to encompass several communities, some of which you may not actually know would technically be included in that. But you have Orchard Park and Orchard Hills. Those are both off of Tiny Road. You also have Summerport and Independence and Signature Lakes. Those three communities are kind of all five of those. The Orchard Hills, Orchard Park, Summerport, Independence, and Signature Lakes. Those are all almost a little bit older. It almost feels like from when things were done. But then you have Overlook at Hamlin, and you had, a few more that were kind of nestled in there. So the last 30 days, was 733,000 was the median income, a sales price. Here's the highest sale, 1.3 million, and the lowest was a townhome at 355. At the moment, though, I think Eric said there's 12 inventory homes. Yep, 12 of them. Price basically from 525 up to 5.3 million. Yes, my friends, that is quite a broad range. But I believe there are no townhomes currently available. So again, just take a quick peek again at these the communities: Orchard Park, Orchard Hills, Summerport, Independence, Signature Lakes. So if you looked at our Sunday drive, we drove through this Bridgewater village. Summer Lake Groves, and Overlook. Those are the other three communities that might more often be thought of and considered within the nugget of the Horizon West area. Here, kind of nestled around that Hamlin area. So anyway, that what did I do? Sorry. My apologies.
I'm being serious.
No, I hit brew bump.
Okay, cool.
I hit brew bump. Sorry, my bad. So if you watched our Sunday drive yesterday, that's what we did, is we drove through the Bridgewater Village. We drove you, not through, but we drove you to Orchard Hills, which was a Beezer and a Ryland, then Cal Atlantic community, two different builders in there. And then there was the KB community of Orchard Park. And then, of course, you had Summerport, Independence, Signature Lakes, all of that kind of nestled together. And then as we talked, so we kind of drove you through some of those so that you could kind of get an idea of where that village was.
So Kim commented on the Bridgewater video. She's like, it occurred to her there's so much she hasn't seen yet. So
yes.
She's watching today.
Yes, absolutely. So the Bridgewater Village is, again, part of the Horizon West area as we've designated. And again, we didn't designate these villages. That's what Horizon West is. But we're just kind of helping it make a little bit more sense, because for those of us who live here, we don't really talk about what village we live in. In fact, it seems a little bit more like when the whole concept of Horizon West was supposed to be, is this, this the largest master planned community in the United States once it's completed. And the whole concept is no gated communities, everything kind of open and connected, a very family friendly, cohesive type of a feel of the area. So really to kind of divide ourselves into villages, I think is going to, it's going to be counterproductive for the true intent of the area. But nevertheless, there are villages. It helps you organize your brain. It does. It helps you kind of determine, well, what is this area, because it is so massive. So if you can kind of, compartmentalize it a little bit, I think it helps a little bit. So anyway, so the third What's Brewing is Allie Knows Taxes. So we're going to go to that one real fast, and then we're going to get to some of your questions. So again, before we forget, I'm supposed to remind you, if you like this, what is it I don't even know. Really see, if you like, yes, please like it. And, if you have a question, put a Q in front of your question so that we can search for it. Anyway, here's Allie Knows Nothing, but yes, she does. She's a smart cookie.
Does buying a home save me money on taxes?
Okay, so this is a good question. So the answer is kind of yes, but, or yes, if. So look at your interest. You can write off the interest on your mortgage if you don't meet that standard deduction. Homestead exemption. This is a really big one here because not all states have what we call a homestead exemption. And it was new to me when we moved here. But there is there's a discount on your taxes based on the assessed value. So like for the first $50,000 of the assessed value is non-taxed. But if you didn't own the home, you wouldn't have to pay those taxes. So it's kind of a, and then the financial cost. If you paid fees when you finance, like to buy down the rate, things like that, you can also write that off, but again, you still have the other aspects of it. So let's think about that. If you didn't have to buy a home, right? I mean, if you're renting, first of all, I'm not advising you to rent. I'm just saying you have to buy the home. So there's an expense involved in it. So buying a home doesn't save you money. But once you buy a home, there are ways to decrease your taxes, to have some taxable write-offs. And again, the homestead exemption, by the way, there are more than just the homestead. So by the way, homestead is if it is your primary residence, okay? So if it is your second home, you don't get a homestead exemption, right? But if you live here and this is considered your primary residence, then you can have a reduction on that. And the first part is the first $50,000 of your property assessed value is non-taxed. There are also other ones like disabled veterans, widows, things like that. So there are other types of exemptions that will decrease what that property tax is for you. But anyway, so hopefully that helped a little bit. I think this is a great little graphic that you can kind of, keep in your brain a little bit so that you can reference back to it if necessary. But oh my gosh, I did it again. I'm hitting the wrong buttons. I know. Hold on, coffee. Maybe that's what I needed. Okay. By the way, it's really good today. This is my second cup. So, Pooh Bear. Anyway, so hopefully that helps you a little bit. I'm going to get to a couple questions because first I'm going to answer Gary's from earlier. So let me go to Gary. He was at the very beginning. Okay. So Gary has said, good morning. Just curious, given so many solar panel sales personnel, amen. Can you recover any of the cost of solar when selling your home? Does it actually add value? So Gary, this is a great question. And we have some very, what is the right word? Aggressive.
Omnipresent.
Solar panel door-to-door salesmen / women. And so much so that like in our own community, it has become an issue and it is very frustrating if you have the no solicitation sign. And I know we have discussed this before about common courtesy. If you have the sign, then nobody should be coming up to your door knocking on it unless they are someone who is expected to come or maybe a delivery or something like that. But at any rate, they can be quite aggressive. So first of all, if somebody is selling me something door to door, my personal policy is I am most likely not going to use them because they disregarded my no solicitation sign. And so that just tells me it's a bad business practice. Personal opinion. Doesn't mean that they're not lovely people. I know they're just trying to earn a living, but they could have left a card. If they had left a card and not knocked or something, I probably would have been more inclined to call them if I was interested in whatever it was they were selling. But so answering your question, Gary. So solar panels, again, if you are thinking that this is going to be a home that you're going to be living in forever, this is going to be a long-term home for you, and that those solar panels are not only a long-term investment, but it's going to be a reward that you're actually going to see benefit you, then absolutely get the solar panels. We're considering the solar panels. We haven't done them yet, but we're considering them because we don't plan on moving again. But some people do, get the solar panels and then 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, they sell their home, but the solar panels are not paid off. So there's two different things that can happen. Number one, if the market has really kind of accelerated and increased, which by the way, it has. I sold a home right here in our own community where they had solar panels. They still owed a bunch on the solar panels. But when we sold it, we were able to sell it for, because of the market, not because I'm a crystal ball person, but because the market had increased enough, we were able to show and prove the actual value in that home. And it was enough to get those solar panels paid off so that solar panel lease did not, or loan did not go over to the new homeowners. However, I have also sold homes where the seller had just put the solar panels on and then the new buyer was going to have to assume that loan. Not as desirable because it can, some people are like, I didn't want the solar panels. Well, first of all, then you probably didn't want to see the home to begin with, but they don't want to have to be stuck with that. So my answer to your question is, first of all, it's going to help the energy efficiency of your home and your overall, your monthly expenses. So that's a check in the pro column. If you've got the funds with which to pay for them and to not have to take out some kind of a loan or a lease and you just want to pay for them and have it done, that's great. When you go to sell the home, the honest to goodness question is, yes, it's going to add value to your home, but it's not going to add the same dollar for dollar amount in most cases. So you just have to think long and hard about what is it that you're trying to accomplish with those solar panels? How does that affect your day-to-day, month-to-month, year-to-year financial savings? And is it something that you feel like the short-term gain is worth, a potential struggle later on if you go to sell it. And by the way, that's not always the case. Like sometimes people are like, yes, it's got solar panels, but we don't know who that magical buyer is out there. So we just kind of have to, to cross our fingers and hope that it works out well. So yes, sir.
Not a question, but.
Looking forward to the new Bridgewater and Seidel sound blurbs. Okay. So we have, there it is. That's the Bridgewater one.
Well, Bridgewater is going to be a song.
It's going to be one.
Bridgewater.
Yeah. So that's it. That's the brain.
Seidel's coming.
Seidel is coming. Yes, we're gonna. That's certainly on our list too. So, yay! So, all right, okay. So, any other questions, real quick? There are some. So let me. I saw Gary's first off, so I wanted to make sure I got him. Let's see. Oh, Laura, is anyone building with whole house generators, and how much can that add to the cost? Actually, I don't have any clients that have built with whole house generators. But you're talking probably, Eric's holding up, $5,000 plus for the installation for that. So you can just do for the generator, and then the installation is more. So you just have to decide again whether or not that's something that you need. So there are our dear friend Buck Livesey has these solar panel generators. Excuse me. Huh? What did I say? Oh, that's right. I was like, that's Carrie's last name. Yes, Buck Buchanan. Sorry, Buck Buchanan. And his wife's last name. Yes, got it. Okay. He sells these solar panel generators or solar power generators. And honestly, Eric and I keep talking, like as soon as we can like calm our life down a little bit, that might be something that we choose to add only because it's a little bit smaller, more, just you can kind of tuck away, but it's always kind of giving you what it is that you need. We don't lose power here quite often. I know people think that with hurricanes and things like that it's devastation. Remember where we are. If this is a conversation for, being in Clearwater or Tampa, or if this is a conversation being in Miami, different conversation, whether or not you would need to have that whole house generator. But right here in Central Florida, not as likely that we're going to need it to determine whether or not, the cost effectiveness of it. But again, that's a personal decision. But, if that's something you want to do, you can certainly add that. Not really an option so much with new construction in most cases.
The decision to have a personal home generator is a personal one and should be undertaken with all care. I'm doing the legal disclaimer. We might lose power. You never know. But we had a Category 2 hurricane and didn't lose power, which was amazing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say about that.
Okay, so Gino Beno, hello, good morning. My family and I are moving back to Florida. Yay, please call me. And I wanted to know which areas you would recommend to look at if wanting to be near everything, but not right near the parks. So there's Gina, there's a lot of, did I say Gina a minute ago? I don't know. I need more coffee.
Gino.
I think I said Gino because I saw the last name. I'm sorry. My apologies, Gina. So first of all, great conversation that we can have privately for a long time. We'll, as usual, we can give you information. Why don't you text me? And do I have the little thingy? Where is it? Where's my little? Okay. He'll put it up there. So jot down my phone number, Gina. It's 407-848-8042. And if you text me, I'm going to send you a link to a wish list. You can fill that out, and then you get a link to my calendar, and then we're going to schedule a time to chat. That way I could go over kind of at length some areas and be a little bit more tuned into exactly what it is that you're looking for. But in a general answer to your question, there are a lot of areas that can still keep you in a relatively close commute to the parks, but not necessarily in its backyard. And those, Clermont is obviously one, Minneola is one, Groveland is one.
Allow me to reach.
Apopka is one. There, Eric's reaching over me.
I'm just reaching over.
There are certainly areas that are close enough, and the commute is not bad at all. So if you want to go have a day trip. Okay, so Eric put this up. So this is the castle, indicating obviously Disney World, and this is the areas in Disney's backyard. So you can see, the first part is the villages here in Horizon West, which is the Hamlin, Bridgewater, Hickory Nut, Lakeside, Seidel, and Ovation. Excuse me. But then you see up above, there's Winter Garden. Now these are the areas I was just talking about. Minneola and Clermont. Wellness Way is part of Clermont, but it's kind of like their own little big section. And then of course, again, you've got Groveland isn't too terribly far. If you want to go to the other side, you've got a Popka and a Coe, but definitely some areas that we can talk about and kind of try to tune in and zone in on what it is that you're looking for price wise, home style wise, because that really is a big indicator of where we can look. When we have a generous price point, then that obviously opens more opportunities. So we can go, look, you can go here and you can go here and you can go here and you can go here. And, here you can get, the area you want, but maybe less square footage. But if we go over here, maybe you can get all the square footage you want, and for a lower price, but you're a little bit further away. So those conversations are great to have kind of a one-on-one, and we can go through that. So perfect. All right. Any other questions? All right. So I have Eric, my mouse is now not working. So
well, I didn't do it.
You did. Hold on. There it is. It was upside down. I didn't have it upside down.
Because I did
okay.
It, yes.
No, he did it. My mouse turned upside down because he did it. Okay. Anyway.
Right now, baby.
Jeez.
So this is not a question.
Yeah.
But in the chat, people are talking about. Rob said he saw a restaurant at Blue Bayou, at Pirates of the Caribbean out west. Paige, our friend from who we're going to congratulate in a minute, chimed in to say Club 33 and Blue Bayou are right next to each other, so that may be the confusion. That's all I have to say.
Okay, very good. Thanks for clarifications, dear. All right. Let's see. Was there any other questions here? Hold on. Let me see. I gotta see. I gotta just checking something. Stand by, folks. Oh, okay. All right. I thought it might have been Gina, but it wasn't. Somebody texted me. But I love these. Just touching base. Is this still your number?
Right. It's going to be an automated.
Yes.
Thing.
No, it's not my number. Anyway. Oh, bother. Okay. Anyway. All right. So, any other questions here real quick? Solar, Laura says, isn't there solar issues with solar panels and insurance dropping? So again, and Florida man, I think you said it right, which is, just check with your insurance company and things like that, just to make sure that whatever you choose to do with your solar panels, if you choose to purchase them, that you have done thoughtfully. Honestly, that is the word I use all the time. Be thoughtful about your decision. Whether it's from an emotional standpoint, whether it's from a logistical standpoint, whether it's from a financial or standpoint or a quality of life standpoint, just be thoughtful. Think about it from kind of all perspectives and decide what is going to be best for you. And then if you have questions, obviously you want to, ask, like Florida man said, ask if you need to, insurance company, make sure that you kind of have all the information on how that could, would, or should affect you, both positive and negative. Okay. So moving on, let's go on to, what else am I going to go on to?
Do the ovation update since Florida man's there.
Sure. Florida man. Let's do ovation update. Okay, did you like Eric's new open? So this is what he does, folks. So
every week someone asks.
I know every week everybody wants to know the updates for the Ovation Village. Hold on, Ovation. So everyone wants to have an update, so we're just gonna go ahead and make it its own little segment. So this is kind of where things stand at the moment. Now keep in mind there are communities in Ovation that have been open and have been selling. Encore Ovation, that's been happening, right? People live there. People have lived there and sold there already. So that community is not affected by any of the delays. Let's see, what else is the other one? Why am I drawing a blank? Heritage Ridge? What is it? Highland Ridge. I do that every single time. Highland Ridge with Meritage. Every time, I swear I have a blank on that one. Highland Ridge, also same thing. They have been selling. I've got a client, their home is almost complete, but no one is officially living there yet. So, as far as homes having closed, but the models are there. The models are open. They are open for business. They have been selling like crazy for a while now. Construction has been going like crazy. So there are communities, Del Webb Oasis, same thing. They're in the Ovation Village. They're selling. People live there now. But these are the ones that people are kind of asking about. West Haven at Ovation, still in permits. It is just kind of, it's just weird, right? To go out there and see the models sitting there, like the models are there, and then there's just nothing else happening. So still just kind of waiting, to everyone's dismay. Harvest at Ovation, that is both Taylor Morrison and Surrey Homes, I believe. Harvest, Rockwell, sorry, thank you. Rockwell, Harvest at Ovation. They are pre-selling. They are starting to get to that point. The good news is I know who is, so with the builders, and I do not work for a builder, do not represent a builder, have never worked for a builder. I do a lot with the builders. So my information is coming from my experiences with them. But, I always tell you, if you're, first of all, don't go to a new construction community without your realtor or without having your realtor, hopefully me, set that up for you, because there can be issues. But the good news is that, when you are active in these new construction communities, who these I call them the site agents, the builders, sales representatives are at those communities. Last week, you heard Abe Aziz he joined in on our coffee time, and he is that person. He is a magnificent salesperson for Parkview at the Hills with Beazer Homes. So he is one of my contacts. So any of you that have purchased there, or if we've been out looking at homes, we've gone in and we've met Abe. Same thing in each of these communities. I typically have one or two of their agents there that I can reach out to via text and say, look, I've got some clients that are in town. They're kind of doing a preview of the area. They're going to pop by today. You're totally good, but you need to let me set that up for you. So anyway, where I was going with that is that now the site agents, when these new communities open and other ones are closing. So let's just use, for example, Canyons at Highland Ranch in Clermont is Taylor Morrison community closing out, right? And you've got other Taylor Morrison's, Harvest at Ovation, just opening up. So where do those sales agents go, right? They kind of ping pong them all around. So if a community is closing, they're going to go put them in another community somewhere else. So the good news is that I now know who is opening the community out here at the Ovation Village. So if there's information that we want or need, we'll be able to get the most updated directly from the person who will be opening the community. So call me so I can get you in touch with them. Osprey Ranch, same thing, pre-selling. I actually saw a post the other day, cute family holding their sold sign. So definitely happening, actual contracts and sales. And then Horizon Isle that's the Surrey one. They're starting their interest list. So
here's your harvest map.
And harvest maps. Okay, here's the harvest map. So Harvest at Ovation, we were just talking about with Taylor Morrison, and take a peek at that. So that's just basically the I guess like the public county records version, and then the Ovation site map from the builder's website. And again, this is the Rockwell version. Now, one thing I want to mention when you have, and this is really, really, really important. So look at that site map, okay? So if a community has two builders in it, they do not necessarily have all of those home sites that are designated to that builder. So again, just as an example, so people might think, oh, let's just say there's 500 home sites, and that Taylor Morrison and Rockwell can sell either of them, and whoever sells it first. No, that's not the way it works. Certain home sites are going to be designated to Taylor Morrison, and certain home sites are designated to Rockwell. So they know in advance which home sites are theirs. And it could be that the vast majority of them are Taylor Morrison and only a few are Rockwell, or it could be 50-50, or it could be completely reversed. And that happens all the time. There's lots of communities like that. Pulte and Taylor Morrison out in Lakeside at Lakeview Preserve, same way. It was originally a Pulte community. They were open. They had models. They were selling. It was going great. Taylor Morrison came in, opened up a couple models. They had some home sites. They two builders at the same time. Taylor Morrison sold their home sites. They scooted out. Pulte is still there, and they've still got more home sites to sell because they expanded. So they're like the main builder in the community. So could be the same way. So I think that's important, so that when you look at site maps, don't get your heart set on a specific home site until we know for sure whether or not that's actually a home site that's designated for this builder or that builder, and if it holds the series home that you are looking for. Because if it's a townhome or a bungalow or a single family or the larger version, it's going to be designated by a different home site, typically color coded for them. Anyway, did you want to say something? No, he just popped in again. Okay, so he's popping in. He has nothing to say, he says. Shut. Oh. Anyway, okay. All right. So, what was there another question too that I was getting ready to go over?
I don't think so. I think you should. I know our special guests from the West Coast are watching, so you should do wishes.
Oh, okay. Let me do that. Let me do our wishes. I should do that. Yes. Paige is watching. Okay. Okay, so our congratulations, our wishes coming true. So we have Paige and Andy. Hello, Paige and Andy, and Colton and Kingston, the twin boys, correct? So this is an example of just, first of all, the sweetest people. Again, all my clients are always so nice. But they are purchasing from across the country, right? So they're not here to be able to do and see all of this in person. Although familiar with the area and not able to make a blind decision, they're able to make a good one. But we are super happy. It has been a whirlwind for the past, week, Paige, I guess, of if a home came available, Eric or I, or both of us, Eric did a lot of it, popped out, showed the home, did a little video for them, did a little driving around. We did the comps on the homes, and we kind of, excitement. Ooh, it's overpriced. Excitement. Ooh, it doesn't check off of the box. Excitement. Yeah, it's not going to happen. And then what's really funny, and I'm just going to go, Paige, you know this is true. In our first conversation, I mentioned Waterleigh, and I said, and then ultimately that's where they ended up. And I am beyond thrilled that they have contracted over the weekend to a beautiful home out in one of my favorite communities here in Waterleigh. So Paige and Andy, Colton and Kingston, seriously, so happy for you. You're going to love it here. We're going to be neighbors. So I already told you we're going to be friends when you get, we're friends already, but we're going to be closer friends when you get here. You are going to love it. I have no doubt. And again, right here in Disney's backyard, what more magical situation scenario could there be than for you to start a new journey here? And as always, we thank you so much for letting us be a part of that. And then Rick and Carolyn, you guys closed on your home. Speaking of Taylor Morrison, they built a beautiful home with Taylor Morrison. And that home is, they closed on it on Friday, I believe. Yes. We did their final walkthrough, and then they headed over to closing. Beautiful. Again, I say this all the time. So Taylor Morrison people, if you're listening, Taylor Morrison is the best builder when it comes to landscaping by far. Other builders, you need to step it up a notch. Your home sites are, your home sites do have sod and they do have irrigation systems in them. And you'll have a flower bed and you have a couple of trees, and a lot of it is code from the county as to how many trees or whatever you have to have. But it doesn't matter what the code is. Taylor Morrison, I'm sure, exceeds it because they just have exquisite landscaping, and the magnificent trees that they plant in the yard of these brand new construction homes are not the tiny little babies with the pieces of wood, holding it up. They're really nice, big, beautiful, substantial trees. So anyway, so congratulations to
those are Rick's trees.
Yeah. So these are Rick's trees in his house. Like, those are big mamma jammas. Those aren't little baby twigs.
I took a picture of them.
Yeah, they're beautiful. So anyway, so congratulations to all of them.
And I have a pop quiz.
Yes.
What village are Paige and Andy going to live in?
Are you asking me, or are you wanting? You're quizzing them?
I'm quizzing you and them.
Well, why would you quiz me?
Just in case, because Waterleigh is in which village?
Hickory Nut.
Hickory Nut. Why, yes, I did just want to play the song.
I know. Guys, I have to live with this all the time. Anyway. Oh, and our friend Erin did a lot of, what was it, the astronomy stuff on us last night for fun. We were having such a good time. We did pool time, and we played board games, and we were doing our astrological kind of thing. And apparently Eric and I are well compatible in many areas except a couple, right? I don't know.
I guess.
It works. It works. We're still married, so we're happy. Okay. All right. Okay, so let me see. Ooh, hold on. Jim, the stone front they installed on our new home is not what we selected based on the samples we received. We request to have it replaced. Okay, so Jim, so first of all, let's talk after coffee time is over. And we want to make sure indeed that is the incorrect stone. So a lot of times, and this is a good question. So first of all, you should get what it is that you selected, unless that is no longer available and they have you reselect, which happens a lot of times. If they did not say, hey, we can't get that stone, you have to reselect, then we'll talk about it. But I will say the first thing they're going to say is, remember, natural stone has, and I'm saying this because I know this is what they'll say, not because this is what I'm telling you. But it is true. Stones, like for instance, if you get a piece of granite, right? And granite is a natural stone. And so the little sample that they give you at a design center may not be the exact way it looks on a large piece of it to go on a kitchen island, for example. So there might be some different kind of veining or some coloring or things in it that may not be as visible on that. So same thing is going to happen with anything made out of wood or anything made out of stone. So sometimes the stone is going to, you see like what they give you the sample like this. So it shows you like 4 or 5, 6 little pieces. Now, if it's like the wrong color, if you're like, no, but Amy, I got like whites and grays and this is like a dark brown or it's kind of red. Okay, yeah, we got a problem. So let's chat after coffee time and let's reach out and just kind of see if they can confirm what's going on there. Okay. But yeah, so as a general note, if you have a question or a concern about a design item that is going into your home that you specifically chose and it is not correct, yes, of course. We're going to tell them, hey, can you double check the style number on this? Because I could have sworn this is what I chose and this is what's on there. And a quick example is I did have some clients that when their shower in their primary bathroom was being installed, and this is one of I was not happy with the builder because of the way they handled it, because of their first reaction. Ultimately, they made it good in the end. But my client said, "Hey, Amy, we went by the house today, and it's the wrong tile on the floor of the shower in the master bathroom." And I said, "Okay." I said, "So then let's reach out." So she reached out. Actually, I think she reached out first and then she was upset with the way they responded. So she got me involved. Totally fine. She reached out to the design center and she said, hey, this isn't what we chose. What are we supposed to do? And their first response was, well, things look different from the little sample at the design center to like being, in a big space, which by the way, that is true. And that's what I just told you a minute ago. But not when you're talking, she had a rock, pebble, stone bottom, and these were hexagon tiles. That's not something that is just, it's a different kind of a look when you put it into space. The buyer knew what she chose. So in my opinion, the correct response should have been, oh my goodness, send me a picture of what's installed. Let me match it to what we chose and let's get on that, okay? Because we do want to let them know immediately if there's a question or a concern. Absolutely, 100%. But sometimes I have had clients go, I don't think this is the same countertop. And it is. It's just because when you see a little 8x8 square and then you see a 14-foot long island, you might see some veining in there that's not normal. But Jim, I just saw that you texted me. Okay, we'll take care of that right after we're done here. Okay. All right. So real quick, let me dump it over to something else. Let's do. Well, you know what? Let's do What the House. What's the House? There it is. I see it. Yep. Okay. So what the house? Okay. So this house is in Las Vegas for just under $1 million. This, to me, first of all, it's like this big warehouse, but I love the murals, the artwork that they've done on the inside. You know what this reminds me of? What was the movie with Tom, Big? Was it Big? Where there was like that big like warehouse? It's like this big, massive open space. That was cute. Had the Minions there. So, I mean, very creative artistically. I kind of love the murals, the graffiti type look on some of it. But, that's definitely an artist that either lives there or that was chosen to do that. But, a different style home too, though, right? Take away all the artwork. Take away all of that. I mean, it's kind of cool. Look at the floor in the kitchen. I mean, all of it's pretty amazing. So if you're looking to find a big giant space in Las Vegas, there you go. That could be a good one for you. Anyway, okay, so moving on. Let's go to, I did it again. That is number 3 for me. Okay, another sip of coffee.
Red button, no. Oh.
I don't know why I keep doing it. I'm so sorry. And I have my glasses on.
Oh, bother.
Stop. Okay, all right, let me move on. We're going to go to what I'm watching. I am watching my kids. So I am still watching the show that I've had the last 2 coffee times, which is A Million Little Things. I will tell you, for anyone who has seen that and you noticed that I was shocked by the thumbnail that Eric used for it, where one of the characters was in a wheelchair, which he was not in a wheelchair when I was watching it. I now know why Eddie Seville is in the wheelchair. I'm way beyond that point now. But I will tell you that this weekend specifically, I just enjoyed watching these 4. I don't think we got a picture adding Hong and Steele in there. But this is from left to right. That is obviously Eric. That is my oldest son, Forrest, in from Virginia. That is my daughter, Elizabeth. Then that is me with the Pooh Bear shirt. Then that is my daughter, Alyssa. And then that is my youngest, Dawson, there on the end with the goofy hat. And again, my 2 son-in-laws, Hong and Steele, should be right there with us. It got a little bit crazy and chaotic toward the end. We were exhausted. We were all sticky because we got ice cream at the end. And none of us could eat the ice cream fast enough. So we were kind of exhausted at that point. But anyway, so there's a picture of our family, and that's what I've been watching. So I did enjoy that. It was a lovely fireworks show. All right, moving on. So let's try to knock some of these out. Let's do Ardmore. I want to talk about Okay, so this is a listing that we just had go active last week, I think. Maybe right before that. Out in Davenport. This is a lovely home, just a few years old. Look at the beautiful, nice, like tight landscaping. That was one of the first things we noticed when we drove up to it. Beautiful home, huge backyard, and it's fenced in. Under $400,000. That, my friends, is amazing. To find a home that is under 400, relatively new. I mean, again, it's got a little bit of a few years on. I think it was built in 2017, I think. But nice home. You can see there from the back, that is a retractable awning that kind of goes out and comes back. So you can kind of cover up that lanai space and give it a little bit of shade. But if you were the type of person who wanted to add a pool, this yard will do it for you. We also have the full video tour of that home. So if this is something that might be piquing your interest, or maybe you have a friend that might be interested in it. Again, this is in Davenport. This is not short-term rental, by the way. This is a residential community and quite lovely. We've got the full video tour for you that we can share. So that's a good one. Honestly, anytime I see anything anymore under 400,000 that is not a townhouse, it's like, okay, let's take a look. Let's take a deeper look, because that is a fantastic price. Okay, so any more questions? Eric, did anybody else pop up one?
I think there was another question about hearing delays from construction managers. It's in there somewhere.
Oh yeah, Laura, right here. Have you heard any delays, concerns yet from construction managers regarding labor shortages? Yes and no, to be honest. In most cases, not really. It depends on the community, to be completely honest. There are some communities, and I use Waterleigh as an example all the time, they retain their crews, and so they just run like clockwork. It's a well-oiled machine out there, and so they're constantly cranking and turning out the homes because their drywall crew stays within the community, and then they're just popping from house to house to house. Same thing with whatever trade happens to be there. There are others. Yes, I have heard that that some of them are having trouble getting electricians. If you're somebody that has some electrician know-how and you want to maybe move to Florida, you could probably be hired. Generally speaking, it's not really creating much of a delay. It could be, a small delay, but probably one that the average homeowner is not even going to notice, because you're not necessarily following along day to day as to, today so-and-so is supposed to show up and today so-and-so is supposed to show up. So in the grand scheme, not one that you would probably note. But yes, there are small little sprinkles of, hey, we're having trouble getting a drywall crew. Or sometimes this happens where they're like, you know what, we're done with that paint company. Like we need a crew that's going to be a little bit tighter with their work. And so then there could be a little bit of a delay. So yeah, I mean, and if you think about it, if you have a paint crew that's fabulous and they come in and do a great job in the beginning, by the way, nothing's going to be perfect in the beginning, right? No matter how perfect that paint crew is, they're going to have, and that's just an example, folks, they're going to have to come back in, and they do come back in, multiple times to do those touch-ups. But if they do a really good job the first time around, there's going to be fewer and fewer touch-ups, and things are going to go a little bit faster. So in that regard, the same would go with drywall. The same would go with some of the, the other ones that are more aesthetic in nature. If they do a good job the first time, they can go faster and not have as many delays. If you get a really bad crew and then they're going to have to come in there and there's a bow in the wall, so now the drywall crew, they have to come back and do this, then there can be delays. But as far as the labor shortages, they seem to be going okay in most cases. But yeah, a few bumps every once in a while. Let's see. What was, Rob, any construction concerns? Let's see. Julia. Yeah, I think it was too. But I'm going to go back to Julia's question. In most of the new development, are the power lines buried? That's a great question. And what do the older areas look like? Yeah, I know. I don't like the power poles either. That's going to be a hit or a miss, but in most cases, a miss. You're not going to see, well, it depends on how you translate what I just said. So in most cases, you're not going to have the power lines as a huge visual obstruction or an eyesore or detriment to your particular property. But yeah, of course there are some, because even if lines are underground, there's going to be elements of some that are up above the ground. There are certain communities where we know for a fact that there's a lot of major power lines, and we have to have the power. For some people, it doesn't bother them. For some people, it does. But in most cases, the lines are buried. So that's just one of those things. I've had clients, gosh, it's been years ago, but we were looking at these, multi-million-dollar homes out in Keens Point and Isleworth, and, there's big power lines all right there. And these are like massively expensive homes, out in Windermere in these very exclusive communities. And, so it's kind of a hit or miss, but that is definitely something that we look for. And, kind of on that note, Julia, and I will mention this. I almost pushed the button again, but I didn't, by the way. I did. I literally went, nope. So that is another reason that we do what we do. You can ask Paige and any of our other clients that we have done these preview videos for. We try to, if Eric goes out and does the drone or something, he tries to do, hey, here's the front of your home, but here's the view from the back of it, and here's the view from the front of it, so that you really do get a true indication of what your piece of earth can look like and what view might be out there, because it really is important. And especially if you're not here to see it for yourself, we would never feel comfortable having someone purchase a home that they've never seen, and that we did not do our due diligence and our duty to our client to say, hey, look, in fact, I actually had some clients that were out, and I said, it's a beautiful backyard view. The home is beautiful, probably a great floor plan for them. The backyard looked out to a pond. It was big. It was beautiful view from the back. The view out the front was one of those big power things, and it was a no-go. So you have to be careful when you look at photos, whether it's the MLS photos or if it's, just somebody sending them to you. You need to see the full picture. You need to make sure you can see the whole full scope of it. So anyway, so about the power lines, we do that to make sure that you get that information. Okay. Devar, we are visiting next month. Should we go to the beach in Tampa or
East Coast, West Coast,
or Port Cal? I know, but I have this thing that it covers up. How can I move this? There's something on my computer that covers up the last. Okay, now it went away. See? Oh, maybe it's me.
Yeah.
Get my hand off the mouse, Amy. That'll probably help. Honestly, it's up to you. I have to tell you, I am a big fan of the Gulf side. I love the sand there. I know that sounds really, really silly. But the sand there is so much whiter and softer than it is on the Atlantic Ocean side. I'm just saying. So I would say Tampa. But I say if you're moving, you move here, right? Okay. Anyway, are you just coming for like vacationing? You say you're visiting next month. So if you're looking for any houses, let me know. But if you're just going to go enjoy some probably well-deserved, sunshine and some sand under your feet, I do recommend Tampa, Clearwater Beach. I love it. So, but there's other ones that you can go to as well. So hopefully that helped a little bit. All right. Any other questions? If not, I'm going to move on to is that it? Is that all? Nope.
You can do Zillow if you want. You can say it.
I'm gonna do the Zillow one, and then we're gonna go bye folks, because we have, you know what? I'll tell you why we have to go bye in a minute. All right, I'm gonna do Zillow. Okay, so I don't think we did this one last week. So this is in Homer, Oklahoma. Oklahoma. Oh my God.
Good Lord.
I can't see it. Okay, guys, I'm gonna try that. Take two. Homer, Alaska. So yes, $8.5 million, 7 bedrooms, 12 bathrooms. Like seriously, I mean, I like the potty, but let me just tell you, 12 of them, no thank you. 17,000 square feet. But look at this. First of all, the views. Did you see the views from that? So this is the one. Yeah, we had this one for last week and we didn't get around to doing it. Look at those chairs though. I don't know if I could have those in the kitchen island. Did you see them a minute ago? They don't have legs, so they're like attached to the island. I just don't know that I could do that. But take a look at this. This is the themed game room like Peter Pan. Can we discuss how awesome this is? So first of all, if you have 17,000 square feet, I'm sure you must have to do some creative things with it. And look at seriously, some amazing kind of little, like your own amenities within your house. Indoor pool. That's pretty sweet. I like that. I really do like the that Peter Pan though playroom. Can you imagine? I also wonder though, what do you do once the kids grow up and no one's interested in Peter Pan anymore? You're always interested in Peter Pan, but anyway. So this is an amazing house in Alaska, folks. Why did I say? Oh, it's because of the K. AK. Actually, AK are my initials, so this should be my house. I don't know. That's a pretty one, guys. Again, not my style, but I wouldn't say, look at the view. Would you say no to that view? I would not say no to that view, but look at that. That is massive. Really gorgeous. All right. I've never been to Alaska. Have you been to Alaska, people? If you have, let me know. Tell me what it's like in real life. But oh my gosh, look at that. That deck out in the back. Okay, I'm loving it. Maybe we should do a video tour of it. All right, guys. So let me just get back to where we were. All right, so we are going to scoot. If you have a question now, you need to let me know. Otherwise, we are going to scoot, because part of your homeowner duty, if you own a home, is to do required homeowner maintenance. So we have lived in our home now 17, almost 18 months. We're actually probably getting to 18 months. And we do our required homeowner maintenance in our air conditioning units, which is every month. You're supposed to pour a little bit of vinegar with some warm water behind it through that condensation line, just to clean it every month when you clean your filters. I do that. I tell my clients to do that. But it's also good to unless you happen to work in the heating and air conditioning industry, to have a company that will do a maintenance program with you where they come out twice a year and they service the units and just double check. We have ours today. It's for us, it was $329 for the year. They come out twice, just again, double check, make sure that everything is going smoothly. You still have to do your required homeowner maintenance, but they are coming to ours today just to make sure everything is, and it is so far, knock on wood, we have not, I don't want to knock, the dogs will bark, but everything is working fine with ours. But it's kind of like going to the doctor for a well check, right? We got to do what we're supposed to do to make sure that it doesn't cost us more in the end. So what is it? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, or something like that. So
did you see Daryl's text this morning?
Daryl's text?
The vinegar worked.
The vinegar worked. Okay, good. So yes, our dear friends Daryl and Jen, twice now they've had some AC unit issues. Eric fixed it the first time. Last night they called us and they had another issue again. And so it was funny because he built with Meritage, and Meritage has the AC unit actually up in the attic, where most of them are accessible by the main floor. or by upstairs, but not so much in the attic. And so yeah, Daryl called us last night, FaceTiming us, and he was up in his attic. But by the way, with Meritage, that attic space is usually within like 7 degrees different from the actual main living space because of the spray foam insulation. Don't work for the builder, but that's to what I understand. Anyway, and he was up there and he was not like crazy sweating, so it must be true. Anyway, he poured the vinegar last night, chased it with the warm water. Took a while, but he said it eventually worked and everything kicked back on, so his house is cool again. So glad we could help. All right, guys. So as always, if you've got questions, save them for next week. Or send me a text message, 407-848-8042. We appreciate you guys so much, as always, joining us on a Monday morning. Please stay safe, stay well. Remember, we love you, and happy house hunting, everybody. We'll see you soon. Bye.